you remember when we were talking about people have like an energy about them, like an aura that they put
Yeah.
off. Like, uh, you go to you use the example. Like, I can go to one of my managers and they'll be like, I'll ask them, "Hey, what do you want me to do with this?" And they'll be like, "Hold on, let me go ask." And then another manager that's in the same exact position would be like, go put that over there.
Yeah.
Go do this with it. Go shove it up your ass. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, what makes somebody have that about them? Like, I feel like it's more than just you talk to them and that's how you sense that type of energy.
Hmm.
I think that it's they just walk in the room and they have that energy.
I think that's a good point. I think, well, part of it is confidence in their tenure. Like, naturally, like, how long have you been at your job? 2 years?
Like year and a half.
Year and a half? Okay. So if a dude walked in tomorrow and they hired him on for your position, and somebody from one of the other departments came and asked you both the same question, you're going to be more likely to give them straight out an answer, right? Than the other person would be, right?
Yeah, I don't care whether it's wrong or not, though. I'm a different case.
Well,
I'll
I'm,
tell them the wrong answer on purpose. That's
I,
why I want to work at Tractor Supply for a little bit.
this, yeah, this is the part you need for your tractor. Here, these tires should fit fine.
Oh yeah, I've had a horse like that before. It actually it's got those dots on it. Yeah. Well, the horse got age. You got to give him this medicine, and then I'm the person that gives the horse medicine. That's what I want to do. I wanted to give the horse medicine, act like I know what I'm talking about.
You're just like just flicking the needle. Yeah, there we go.
Let me make
So
sure this is good.
where do I inject the horse at? Anybody know? But I mean, it has to do with tenure, confidence, and your self confidence. Because if you go to I have a particular manager or employee or associate, somebody that works with me, where if I ask him any type of question, he will give me an answer, whether it is right, wrong. He does not care. There will be an answer given at that point. There, 100%. If I ask him, I will turn around and walk away knowing what he wants me to do. He has told me before. He said, "I don't care if I'm right or wrong. You go do it. If I turn out to be wrong, I'll come back later and tell you." Okay, that is confidence in yourself and what you're doing. I have other managers where I don't ask them anything because I'm better off giving the answer to them on what I'm going to do with it. So I think it just all goes into. And what do you think if you are a good manager in any position? Which side should you be on? Should you be on the cautious side where you kind of have to go ask everybody else a question to make sure you're giving the right answer, or the just give them an answer so you give them an answer type of thing? You know, where
Well, I don't. I think that it's if you're a good. I don't think that's a good question because if you're a good manager, you're going to know the answer.
well, I think the answer no, because a good manager doesn't know
Has
all the
already done
answers.
the position, has already worked in and knows about the positions that they're managing.
I no, I feel like a good manager doesn't always know the answer, but he will find the answer. Because if you ask me and I know for sure what the answer is, I'm not going to ask anybody else. I'm going to say, here's what you need to do.
If somebody that I'm managing comes up to me and asks me what happened to his dad,
What?
the fuck am I? How am I going to give him that answer? Like, if
Well,
fucking kid
obviously,
comes up to me and ask me some dumbass question.
well, obviously, that doesn't affect your managerial ability. I mean, if I go to you, all right, just pick a job. Imagine we're working at a gas station, right? I've always wanted to work at a gas station for some reason. Maybe it's because I want to work by myself most of the time. So we're working there, and you come in, and I say, "Hey, uh, I need to know what cleaner I need to use in the bathroom." Right? That's a common question you would get asked. If there's a bathroom, they need to know what it needs to be cleaned with and how you want it done. Okay, so if you're like, hold on, let me text this person to see how they do it so I can tell you the right answer. Or you'd be like, we
The
use soap and water here, sir. There's your answer. That's what you use. So that's where, like, if you know for sure, you tell them. If you don't know for sure, you find the answer out and give them that answer.
I feel like any question that they're going to ask you, I don't even know how we got on this topic, but I think that any question that they ask you is going to be a common sense question.
Not
That was
always.
the point that I was trying to get
So
at.
you meant, but then your employee's an idiot for asking you common sense questions, right?
Well,
Not always, but
I mean, some people are super. I've never been like this, but are super, super, super afraid to lose their job. Like, uh, if you're working at McDonald's and someone's yelling at them, they'll just sit there and they'll shut down. You know what I mean?
uh-huh.
Like customers yelling at them or something. It's like, no, I would fucking tell that customer off. I mean, like that customer can fucking, you know, go do whatever. I'm not gonna sit there and take that. It's because they're so afraid to lose their job, like it
Well,
didn't
well, I
just fall in their lap because McDonald's hires anybody.
well,
You know what I
I
mean?
don't think that's a good example, but like my example would be like imagine if you tell your worker how to go do something, right? You tell them to do this and how to do it. They come back 5 minutes later and ask you to re-explain to them. Is that they don't want to lose their job, or is that they want to make sure they do it right the first time? Which do you think that's a positive trait that they would want to come back and ask you to make sure they're doing it right?
Oh, is this like something like would this piss you off
Like
or would this
say
make you happy?
say
Because it would obviously piss me off because it's like so they didn't listen to me the first time.
well no, because I think that depends on the way you phrase it. All right, so let's role play here for a sec. All right, you be my manager and explain to me how. Just explain to me how you'd want me to. If we're working at a gas station, tell me what you want me to do and tell me how to go do it.
All right, I want you to go clean the shit from the toilet. Okay, it's clogged up
All right.
and there's shit on the floor.
Okay.
I want you to go and get a mop and I want you to also get some gloves and you're going to pick the shit up off the floor.
All right.
You're going to throw it in our competitor next door's lobby and you finish your job up and mop up, you know, the water that's on the floor.
Okay.
And when you're done, come back here.
All right. So imagine this. Imagine I leave, right? And I come back. I'm like, hey, I just want to clarify something with you. I know you said you wanted me to mop it up and then throw it in the competitor's lobby next door. But do you also want me to snake the drain, or do you want me just to use a plunger on it and go with that?
That's different because I didn't say anything about that. I just
That's
said go do that.
That's
and
why
then-
I'm asking, because that's part of the job that needs done, and you didn't clarify that. That's why I'm
But I
coming.
didn't tell you to do it, so you could have
Yes,
just.
you told me that the toilet was clogged and there was shit on the floor and it needed taken care of, and then you proceeded to tell me how to take care of it. You did not mention how to unclog the toilet.
Well,
That's
that
why.
stays clogged up. That's why there's shit on the floor.
Well, obviously, you know, in a real life scenario, we wouldn't leave the toilet clogged up. So if your employee comes back to you, repeats to you what you told him, and then asks about something you didn't mention, how can you get mad at them?
Well,
That's
in
not a
that
dumb question.
situation, I wouldn't be mad.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's where if they just come back to you and they're like, what did you want me to do again? You're going to get mad because it's like, dude, I already told you once. But that's where, as a worker, you have to understand how to talk to people.
So you were in a manager position.
Yeah, I manage every day, baby. I manage everything.
So how did you do that? How did you handle situations like that, or you know what did you do?
Usually, either intense anger and walking away, or most of the time, I left no room for error the first time when I explained to them how to do something. I wouldn't tell anybody to go do something. I would say, hey, let's walk over here. Let's talk about what you're going to do, and I'm going to show you how to do it right the first time. And then I would go back to doing my job.
Yeah, but what if it's something that they should know how to do?
If it's something they've done before, then I just tell them to go, and they would know they can come to me. And all my associates did a good job of saying, hey, I know what you said to do, but here's a question I have that you didn't exactly clarify. Then I would clarify it, and then they'd go off and do what they were told to do. That's where if you have a group of people that know how to talk to each other, it minimizes those type of interactions where it's misunderstanding, really, right? That's pretty much what it all boils down to is misunderstanding. But you never answered the question I asked in the first place. Would you rather have a manager above you that has to ask somebody else every time you ask them a question to give you an answer? Or would you rather have a manager who every time gives you an answer, but it's wrong half the time?
Well, I'd tell you what, I'd probably take the one that's probably wrong half the time.
So instead of getting an answer right the first time, every time, but having to wait a little bit longer, you'll just do it wrong half the time and be happy with that?
Yeah. I don't like to be managed.
Fair enough. But my thing is, I want to do it right the first time. That's my thing. Is I don't ever want to have to go back and do something somebody told me to do again because one, it pisses me off that you're talking to me about this when I already handled it. Whether I did it right or wrong, it's done. It's not getting handled again. So I want to know how to do it right the first time. Now, whether that is on the manager to tell me how to do it right the first time, or it's on me to figure out how they want me to do it the first time.
You saying that makes me think that that's happened to you a lot.
What?
Manager telling you something, making it sound very similar or very correct, I guess. Um, but then it being wrong.
Well, yeah, it happens at every job, but it's specifically at mine. It happened all the time. So I got to a point where it became, uh, Brandon's the manager. Brandon's going to do it how he wants to do it, and they're going to leave Brandon alone. And that's generally what happened. And it all worked out pretty well. I never really had many issues as far as like I did something wrong and they were upset with me. It was like, hey, did you do this yet? No, I'll take care of it. All right. Then
But
I
you
would go
did
take
quit
care
your
of it.
job.
I didn't quit. Well, I tried to quit. They talked me out of it. I'm just doing something else different.
So are you going to talk about why?
No, I don't
You're
think
gonna,
that really needs to put out into this type of sphere. I think it's just to say I felt like I needed a change in what I was doing. They offered me that change in a way that let me stay where I was at, and I took it.
I mean, that's fair enough. What we were talking about though was someone that puts off the energy that
They know
I
everything.
not they know everything because that's something bad.
Well, it's like
That's related to something
the
bad.
confidence, I guess. A confident,
Well, do you have to have a
um,
big ego to be able to put off
no,
that energy?
Mm. No, because there's a way to do it and be confident in your job, but not be confident in everything. You know what I'm saying? Like we're specifically talking about a job setting. So if you seem confident in what you're doing, you just know what you're doing. Um, I have a talent for sounding like I'm very confident in something.
And that's why you're managed.
When I have never done it before or know how to do it, I will talk to you like I do, and I will explain to you, like the technique I use is say I know how to do this part of it, right? And I know how to do this part of it, right? So I know how to do the first part and the last part, but I'm not sure on the middle. I will give you every detail there is to how to start it and finish it, and just pretend I know how to do the middle. And normally people go with it. So that's a talent. But that's where it's like I felt like I always tried to be the person that was confident in their job, could give you an answer if you needed it, because I had worked in a lot of different places and within my position, and I could give you an answer about everything, or I'd find the answer for you. So I tried to be the one that somebody could come and ask a question to, and I would get the answer, but also I didn't know everything. It's a fine line you have to where like to be approachable versus to be arrogant.
Well, you keep relating it back to the job thing, but it doesn't have to be just with the job thing.
I
I'm
think it's
saying like
I
that
think it's
person
rare.
puts off a aura that's like that person is important or
I think it's rare for me anyway to encounter those type of people outside of my workplace.
customers. You have a lot of customers that come through.
Yeah,
So,
generally it's either I have no idea what I need, will you help me, or I know exactly what I need and I'm probably wrong.
okay.
At least for me, and what I'm doing, that's what you encounter. With
So,
you, it's not, you don't really handle customers, right? So with you, you fulfill the customer's wishes, but somebody else is the one figuring out what they want. So that's where it's like a little bit different.
okay. Well, talking about the energy that they put off or not the energy they put off, but they can give you an answer, right?
Yeah.
How does one get to a point where they don't second guess themselves? Like because that's a point like someone gives you an answer, you clap, you
Right
can
away.
clap back right
But
away.
I think there's a fine line where like you need to understand that you don't have to do that every time. Where it might be better for you to say, I'm not 100% sure. Let me find out for you. Whereas if you truly don't know, it's okay to be like, I don't know, but I will find out. Because like if you're dealing with anybody in any type of scenario and you tell them you don't know and leave it at that, they're going to be upset, right? Because it's like, dude, you didn't even try to figure out what I wanted you to figure out. But if you say, I don't know, let me find out, I'll be right back, that leads to a positive experience with that person.
So do you think it's confidence?
I don't know if it's confidence or more so an understanding of.
Having enough self-assurance that
Well, I want to say it's an understanding of customer service, but again, I'm relating it to my job.
well, I don't know why you keep doing it. I said it doesn't have
Because I told you, for the most part, this is where I experience these type of interactions at. I'm not going to the grocery store and just asking the cashier, like, "Hey, you know where the onions are?" And I'm not judging them because 9 times out of 10, they know what the onions are. Now, I will tell you this: we went up to Goodwill, all right, and I had pulled my mask down under my nose, right, and this is in another state. This wasn't in our state, so I wasn't 100% sure of like the rules or the guidelines or whatever the laws. I pull it down to breathe, just get, that breath of fresh air in through your nose.
Mhm.
And this girl looked at me. She said, "Sir, I'm gonna need you to pull your mask up over your nose."
As soon as you did
Damn near it. And of course, that caused me to keep an eye on this person, to listen to how they talk to other people. And she was like brand new there. It was like her first day or second day. And she's talking to customers like that. I wish somebody had the confidence to speak to me like that in my store. Because you ain't talking to Brandon like that. All right.
it.
So that is a situation where it's like I judge that person on my interaction with them, and oh, you got the confidence, do you? Yeah, you know what it's like, don't you? So I mean that's
You
one.
know what? She's probably a Democrat.
You voted for Bernie Sanders, didn't you?
Stupid bitch. Um,
Who are you voting for, Brian?
Nobody. If voting mattered, they wouldn't let us do it.
What?
Off of that, if voting mattered, they wouldn't let us do it. Okay. So now that we got that out of the way, would you say that, that self-assurance, would you say that it's self-assurance? Would you say that it's confidence? What would you say the energy that the person puts off?
I think confidence will affect it. I think self assurance will affect it, but I don't know what to call it. Because if you're not confident, you're going to seem like you're not confident. And that's going to affect what vibes you're giving off. I think it's a big combination of a bunch of different things, right?
Well, I think you can also hear it in the person's voice, whether they're
Yep.
confident with what they're saying or not. Because like if you
But
listen to like one of our podcasts,
yeah,
when it gets to something that one of us doesn't know what we're talking about, you can hear like
the hesitation.
almost not even just the hesitation, but like the voice you
Like
speaking
right
isn't as
now.
your speaking isn't as full.
Yeah, that makes sense. But I also think that there's times where a person could talk to you like they know 100% what they're doing, and they don't. So that's where it's like it's not so much about confidence in what they're doing; it's about confidence and giving you an answer and wanting you to leave is a big part of it too. So I said confidence affects it, self assurance affects it, knowledge of whatever you're asking them about would affect it. So I think with each person, it's a little bit different because you can have low self confidence but sound like you know what you're talking about, but it's rare.
But how often do they actually know what they're talking about if they put off that much energy or
Uh,
that sort of energy?
that's a question I can't answer.
I saw a chart the other day that I thought was really interesting. So if you imagine just like XY chart,
Mm,
right? It's like that.
yeah.
So you have like from uh let's say the bottom is time learning, and then
Mm,
confidence and knowledge is
why?
yeah, why. Um so you have a what do you call it? Like a curve that goes up and it peaks all the way at the top of the confidence and knowledge
Yeah.
right at the beginning of time learning, because you feel like, you know what? You're to a point where you're like, well, I'm learning. Let's say I can use this program. I'm doing pretty good with it. And as soon as you get past that peak of, you think that you know everything about this program,
Drops.
you learn. You're like, oh, well, now I know how much there is to go. So then it just goes plummets straight back down,
Mm,
um, to almost where it took off. And then it sort of just flatlines until you get to a point where it's not even like you can't judge it yourself whether you're good at something or not.
yeah.
Someone else you have to be acknowledged that you're good at it.
Someone else
And
that
then that's
you
where you
know
get
is good at it has to say that you're good at it before you
other
believe it.
people in the field or whatever
Have to
need
approve of you.
have to like acknowledge
Yeah.
your skills or whatever. And
Well,
that's where the I don't know, title expert comes from, I guess.
well, my thing is that also depends on what you're learning, right? Because there's some things that you can learn everything about in a day and have 100% confidence in it, and then your confidence never wanes. It goes straight up and it stays there.
Like
Right.
changing a tire.
Well, no, because I mean I've been doing my job for altogether probably 8 months now. That's not a long time, but for what I'm doing, there's not a lot that I really need to know how to do. And on an XY chart of my confidence, so it starts here, and we're here. We're still here. It's just bam, right on the button.